Okay, good afternoon, all of you. So, today is the second continuation class of problem solving in probability actually. So, in this session also, we have some difficult and critical problems. Also, some problems are very important. So, we'll solve those problems in this class. So, first, I will start with a simple problem. So, what this is problem 1. A missile was fired at a plane on which there are two targets T1 and T2. The probability of hitting T1 is P1 and that of hitting T2 is P2. It is known that T2 was not hit. Find the probability that T1 was hit. So this can be done by using conditional probability. So it is given in the problem that probability of T1 is equal to P1 and probability of T2 is equal to P2, and it is known that T2 was not hit. So T2 bar will denote the complementary event and you have to find out the probability of T1 was hit. So T1 given T2 bar, you have to find out this T2 bar. T2 bar denotes the T2 was not hit. So that is the complementary event. So this is the conditional probability you have to find out. Probability of T1 on the condition that T2 was not hit. So that is given by, you know that the conditional probability formula is T1 intersection T2 bar by probability of T2 bar. Okay, T1 intersection T2 bar by probability of T2 bar, and that is equal to, and you know that from Venn diagram T1 intersection T2 bar, that is you can calculate from Venn diagram. Let me draw the diagram once again. This is your T1 and this is your T2. So this is your T1 intersection T2 bar, this part, right? So this part is given by probability of T1 minus this intersection part. This is your T1 intersection T2. So that is given by probability of T1 minus probability of T1 intersection T2 bar by probability of T2 bar is 1 minus probability of T2, complementary event, right? And you see T1 T2, you look at the question, was fired at a plane on which there are two targets T1 T2, and T1 intersection T2 is an impossible event. So the probability of impossible event is 0. So in your numerator you have P1 because probability of T1 is P1 by 1 minus P2. So this is the answer, P1 by 1 minus P2, because T1 intersection T2 is impossible event. So T1 intersection T2 is a null set phi, because you cannot hit the plane simultaneously with T1 and T2. So that will give you 0. So ultimately this is the result. Let's move to the next question. Question number 2. A person takes 4 tests in succession. The probability of his passing the first test, so the person is taking actually appearing in the tests, 4 tests in succession. The probability of his passing the first test is P. Probability of passing the first test is P. Okay, first test. That of his passing each succeeding test, that is the next test, is P or P by 2. It will be P or P by 2. Very carefully note down, P or P by 2 according as he passes or fails the preceding one. If he passes the preceding one, the probability of passing the test will be P. If he fails in the preceding one, the probability of passing will be P by 2. Right? Probability of passing will be P by 2. And he qualifies provided he passes at least 3 tests. So he will be qualified if he passes at least 3 tests. So what is the chance of his qualifying? What is the chance of his qualifying? That is the question. Now define the event in such a way. It's a, AI denote the event. AI denote the event. AI denote the event that passing the ith test I equal to 1 2 3 4. AI denote the event passing the ith test I equal to 1 2 3 4 4. So he qualifies provided he passes at least 3 tests. So what is the possibilities? The person qualifies if any of the following mutually exclusive events happens. What are the, suppose A1, A2, A3, A4 bar. So it is intersection actually, A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 intersection, that he qualifies first 3 tests and he fails to pass the test A4, then he fails to pass the test A3 but he qualifies in A1 A2 A4. Next one is he qualifies in A1 A3 A4, he passed the test A1 A3 A4 but he fails in A2, and he fails in A1 but he passes the test A2 A3 A4, and he may pass all the 4 subjects, all the 4 tests, sorry. So these are the possibilities. So let me write, we can write that probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 intersection A4 bar, this is first one, union. So let me write, you can put dot or intersection, your A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 bar intersection A4 bar A4 union, because these are mutually exclusive, one of them will happen, A1 intersection A2 bar intersection A3 intersection A4, and so last 2 terms. Okay, I am not writing the complete one. Now this can be written as, let me add a page here. So this can be written as, we can write this as, because they are mutually exclusive, we can write this probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 intersection A4 bar plus probability of A1 A2, I can write dot also, A3 bar A4. So we are putting intersection, let us put intersection here, intersection, and probability of A1 intersection A2 bar intersection A3 intersection A4 plus, what was the next one, probability of A1 bar probability of intersection A2 intersection A3 intersection A4, and the last one is he passes all the tests. So these are mutually exclusive, that is why you have only general addition, all other terms are 0, impossible. A3 A4. Now this passing of the tests are independent, each of the events are independent, so we can write them, you know that for independent we can write probability of no, it depends succeeding, I'm sorry, probability of passing the test, first test is P, that of his passing each succeeding test is P or P by 2. Actually it depends on the previous one. If he passes the previous one, the next one will be P. If he fails the previous one, the next one will be P by 2. So accordingly we have to arrange. So we can write, in this case we can write probability of A1, the first one, I am writing the first one, probability of A1, because A2, passing A2 is depends on A1. So A2 given A1, he passes A1. Next probability of A3 on the condition that he passes A1 intersection A2, right, and last one probability of A4 bar on the condition that he passes A1, A2, A3. So these are the dependent events. Okay. Now plus you can write similarly, you can write the second one, probability of A1, probability of A2 given he passes, sorry, in this case it will be A1. Yes, A1, no, this is A2 on the condition that he passes A1, probability of what is next, A3 bar. A3 bar, that is he fails in A3, he passes A1, A2. And the last one, A4 on the condition that A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 bar. And so on. You can write the all other terms like this. So you will see, I am just explaining the first one, all other terms you can explain by yourself. So you see, what is your probability of A1? Probability of A1 is P, right? And what is the probability of A2 on the condition that he passes A1? That is given A1, he passes A1. Look at the question. If that of his passing each succeeding test is P according as he passes or fails. If he fails, it will be P by 2. If he passes, it will be P. So what is the passing of A2 on the condition that he passes A1? That will be P again, because if he passes the preceding one, the next one will be P. And what is the probability of A3 if he passes the previous one? That is A1, A2, all these two, actually A2 is the previous one. So he passes the previous one, that is why the next one will be P. This probability will be P. And PA4, what is the probability that he fails in A4 on the condition that he passes all the tests. So complementary event will be if P is the probability of passing, then probability of A bar will be 1 minus P. So probability of A4 will be 1 minus P, right? This will be 1 minus P. Okay. Next, let me explain the next one. This will be P, probability of P, and A2, this will be P, conditional probability of passing A2 on the condition that he passes A1, and A3 bar will be 1 minus P, right? Because he fails in this test. Okay. Probability of A3 bar on the condition that he passes A1 into intersection A2. And what will be your probability of A4 as he fails the previous one? As in this case, look at that very carefully. In this case, as he fails the previous one, so this probability will be P by 2. Because according to the question, if he passes the previous one, the next one will be P. And if he fails the previous one, next one will be P by 2. So he fails in the previous one, that is why the probability is 1 minus P, and the next one will be P by 2 because as he fails in the previous one. Similarly, you will explain the others. You look at that, you have A1, that will be P, A2 bar will be 1 minus P, and he fails in the previous one, so probability of A3 will be, probability of A3 will be P by 2, and he passes the previous one, so this will be P. So let me write plus, this will be plus P 1 minus P, P by 2, and the last one is P because he passed this one. Look at that, A1, A2 bar, A3, A4, right? So A1 is P, A2 bar is 1 minus P, and A3 bar on the condition that he fails the previous one, it will be P by 2, and the last one, because as he passes the test A3, so A4 is P. So that is here. And what is next? I am just writing this one. Probability of A1 bar will be 1 minus P, next one will be P by 2, next one will be P as he passes the previous one, and last one will be also P. So let me write 1 minus P into P by 2 into P into P. And the last one is he passes all the tests. So last one is p to the power 4. So this is the result, and if you calculate, you will get the answer like half p cube 1 minus 5 minus 3p. This will be the answer. You can check and verify the answer. So this is the beautiful example on conditional probability also, and important also. This is how you will apply the chain in succession. It's a chain wise. Next, move to the third problem. This is also it depends on the previous previous events also. With probability p, a car travels along the road every second independent of the other time moments. With probability p, a car travels along the road every second independent of the other time moments. A pedestrian needs 3 seconds to cross the road. Point to be noted that a pedestrian are waiting for to cross the road, he needs actually 3 seconds to cross the road. What is the probability that the pedestrian approaching the road will wait for 3 seconds and 4 seconds to cross the road? We need to find. So first of all, you look at that. I am explaining here. This is the solution. The event that the pedestrian will wait for 3 seconds to cross the road will happen. That is, the pedestrian is waiting to cross the road, and that will last for 3 seconds. That means there will be cars crossing. Actually, if and only while one car crosses the road in each of the first 3 seconds, one car crosses the road in each of the first 3 seconds, and in the next 3 seconds no car crosses, because he needs 3 seconds to cross the roads. Okay, point? Got my point? Makes sense? Because the man needs 3 seconds to cross the road, number one. Number two, for he will be waiting for 3 seconds. That implies in each second there will be cars that are moving and crossing the road, and the man has to wait for 3 seconds. After that, the man will cross the road, and during that 3 seconds no car was crossing. That is the important thing, so that pedestrian gets the requisite time to cross the road. Got it? So this is written here. So what is the required probability in the first case? Required probability we can write during the first 3 seconds there will be car. So the man is actually waiting for 3 seconds. That means first second a car is moving with probability p. In the second second the car is moving with another car is moving with probability p, actually crossing the road. And in the third second, that is the last second, man is waiting for 3 seconds. So this is 1, 2 and 3. These are the 3 parts. So p, p, p. That means 3 cars are moving. 3 cars are moving in 3 seconds. That is why the man cannot cross the road during that time. But now the man will cross the road. That means in the next 3 seconds there will be no car is crossing the road. So that will be given by 1 minus p. No car is crossing the road is 1 minus p, because p is the probability of a car crossing the road, and 1 minus p the second, and the third one is 1 minus p. So this is the required probability during the, and look at that once again. I will explain that in this 3 seconds the man was waiting, and the car, 3 cars at each second was crossing the road, and during the last 3 seconds the man was crossing the road, because a man need to cross the road 3 seconds. Clear? Similarly you can explain the second one. The required probability can be given by p. That means the man is waiting for 4 seconds, mean p into p into p into p. One car, second car, first car, second car, third car, fourth car. So at each second there will be 1 car crossing the road. So that is why with probability p. So there is a 4 cars. Actually the man was waiting for 4 seconds, and in the next 3 seconds there is no car. So 1 minus p, 1 minus p, and 1 minus p, right? So this is p to the power 4 into 1 minus p whole cube. So these are the two answers. Okay. Next, just read the question number 4. Two players A and B alternately throw a pair of die. Okay. So there are possibilities 1 to 6. A wins if A throws 6 before B throws 7. So they are playing just like a gambler. So A wins if A throws 6 before B throws 7, and B wins if B throws 7 before A throws 6. Right? So this is the process. Now if A begins, then find the probability that A wins. You can find the probability of B wins also. But in our problem right now, we'll find out A wins. So let us define the events. A, I denote the event. A throws 6 in the ith throw, and BJ denote the event. B throws 7 in the jth throw, right? And A starts the game. So what are the possibilities? Let us have some mutually exclusive events. A wins if at least one of the following mutually exclusive events happen. Look at that. If A wins if at least one of the mutually exclusive events happens. So now you can calculate what is the probability of throwing 6, or probability of A1. What is the probability of A1? There are 5 cases of 6. What are the you can check here. You can get the 6 like 5 ways, right? 6, 4 2, 2 4, 3 3, 5 1, 1 5. So there are 5 cases. So 5 by 36 is the probability. And how many ways you can get the what is the probability of getting 7? 7, you can get the 7 like you can get 7 like there are 6 cases. 6 by 36. How will you get 7? 5 2, 2 5, 4 3, 3 4, 6 1, 1 6. So there are 6 cases, right? So 6 by 36, 1 by 6, and this is 5 by 36, right? This is 1 by 6, okay, and this is 5 by 36. Now you look at that. A wins if at least one of the following mutually exclusive events happen. What are the events? A1 gets the 6 at the first chance. It may happen that A1 gets the 6 at the first chance. So the game is over. Next, A1 fails to do so, B2 fails to do get 7, and A3 gets 6, and the game is over. Next, A1 fails to get 6, B2 fails to get 7, A3 fails to, next turn is A3's, A3 fails to get 6. Next turn is B, B4 denotes that the fourth trial, A3 denotes that the third trial, B2 denotes that the second trial, and A1 denotes that the first trial. So B4, that is the fourth trial, B fails to get 7, and A5, that is because my target is to find the A wins, probability of A wins. So A5, that is A got the 6, right, in this way, and this continues countably infinite number of events, right? So this continues. So you can check the probability, you can write them inside the probability of A1 or A1 bar intersection B2 bar intersection A3, or putting the bracket A1 bar B2 bar A3 bar B4 bar intersection, sorry, because I am using intersection, so you have to write intersection, otherwise you can write dot also, B4 A5 union dot 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 dot, so on. This is the required probability. Now these are mutually exclusive. Probability of A1, probability of A1 bar intersection B2 bar intersection A3 plus probability of A1 bar sorry, B intersection B2 bar, intersection A3 bar, intersection B4 bar, intersection A5, and plus, because they are so on, this they are mutually exclusive. So let me add a page here. So again, this trying, they are independently throwing, and they not depend on each other. So these events are actually independent, A1 bar, B2 bar, A3 bar. So we can write probability of A1, because in the previous case you see it depends on the previous result. You are suppose you was discussing about the passing the test, so they are depend on the previous one, but in this case they are independently trying. The trials are independent actually. So probability of A1 bar into probability of B2 bar into probability of A3 plus, let me write probability of A1 bar, probability of B2 bar, probability of A3 bar, probability of B4, and probability of A5. Okay, and so on. I am not writing all other terms. So what is your probability of A1? Probability of A1 is 5 by 36. Right? Look at that, I have calculated. Probability of A1 is 1 and B2 is BJ actually. It is BJ. You can write AI and BJ. So probability of AI is 5 by 36, probability of BJ is 1 by 6. So BJ bar will be 1 minus 1 by 6. AI bar will be 1 minus 5 by 36. So similarly you can calculate. So probability of A1 is 5 by 36 plus what is your probability of A1 bar? It is 31 by 36, because 1 minus 5 by 36 into what is your probability of B2 bar? 5 by 36, 5 by 6, sorry, because probability of BJ is 1 by 6, BJ is 1 by 6. So you can write 5 by 6 into probability of A3 will be 5 by 36. Similarly you can write the next term, probability of A1 bar 31 by 36, probability of B2 bar 5 by 6, probability of A3 bar will be 31 by 36 into probability of A3 bar calculated B4 bar, this will be bar, B4 bar will be 5 by 6 and A5 will be 5 by 36, right, and so on. So look at that, this is a infinite GP series. It looks like you can take 5 by 36 common and write the whole thing inside. 5 by 6 into 31 by 36 plus 5 by 6 into 31 by 36 whole square, and next term will be whole to the power 4. Sorry, wait, next term will be whole to the power 4, right? Wait, okay, next term will be whole to the power 4 plus etc. So it's a infinite GP series, and common ratio is less than 1, mod are less than 1, then you can write 1 by 1 minus this one. This is your R, 5 by 6 into 31 by 36, and you can calculate the result, that is 30 by 61. You can calculate the result, you can check the result. So this is the important example that shows there are two players are playing, and there are so many problems like this, and you have a sequence, you have a series, infinite GP series, and you can calculate that. Next problem, this is also very complicated problem. 4 dice are thrown and find the probability that the sum of the numbers will be 18. 4 dice are thrown and find the probability that the sum of the numbers will be 18. So there are 4 dice. So your even points, that is the sample space, will be 6 to the power 4 even space. So it is explained here, and A be the event that the sum of the numbers is 18. A be the event that the sum of the numbers is 18. So we notice that number of event points in favor of A is the total number of solution of the equation P plus Q plus R plus S is equal to 18. And P, Q, R, S are the variables. P can take any values between 1 and 6. Q can take any values between 1 and 6. R can take any values between 1 and 6. S can take any values between 1 and 6. So P plus Q plus R plus S is equal to 18. So P can take any values between 1 to 6. So this is the equation actually. So we notice that the number of even points in favor of A is the total number of solution of this equation. If you get the total number of solution of this equation, that will be your answer. Just like P is representing the first die, Q is representing the second die, Q is a point representing the second die, R is a point representing the third die, S is a point representing the fourth die. It just look like that. That P, Q, R, S are the variables. It can take any values from 1 to 6, from the set 1 to 6. Now, if we multiply, next look at that. If you multiply x to the power 1 x square plus x cube plus x to the power 6 4 times by itself, then the product will contain terms of the form x to the power a plus b plus c plus d, right? Because if you multiply 4 times and inside the bracket the terms will be x plus x square plus x cube plus x to the power 6, right? In this way, then if you take the product, the one of the product will contain ABCD or ABCD, and ABCD belongs to 1 to 6. So that is the concept actually, right? So that is the concept. This is called multinomial concept. So it is clear that the total number of solution 1, I am talking about equation 1. If you get the total number of solution of equation 1 is equal to the coefficient of x to the power 18. Sorry, it should be written as x to the power 18. It is x to the power 18 in the expansion of this. Total number of solutions of equation 1 is equal to the coefficient of x to the power 18 in the expansion of this. Okay, that will be the solution, because you look that if you multiply 4 times, the product will contain terms of the type form x to the power a plus b plus c plus d, like this. If you multiply and expand and multiply, you will get this term. So the ultimate thing is that in examination, if you have this type of problem, don't go through all these results, just directly find out the x to the power 18 in the expansion of this, x to the power 18 in the expansion of this. So let me write coefficient of x to the power 18 in x plus x square plus x cube etc. x to the power 6 whole to the power 4. That is equal to coefficient of x to the power 18 in, you can take x common from here, so x to the power 4 1 plus x square plus etc. x to the power 5 whole to the power 4, right? Now you can reduce this dividing by x to the power 4, that will be coefficient of x to the power 14 in 1 plus x square into x to the power 5 whole to the power 4. I am multiplying the numerator and denominator by 1 minus x whole to the power 4 by 1 minus x whole to the power 4. Why I am doing this? I want to simplify the expression. Let me show you, because you can't do this expansion. I will use binomial also. In So if you multiply inside the bracket, it will give you 1 minus x to the power 6 whole to the power 4. If you inside the bracket, if you multiply, it will give you, the numerator will be 1 minus x to the power 6 whole to the power 4, and this will be 1 minus x whole to the power minus 4, negative binomial expansion. Okay, now look at that. This is equal to coefficient of x to the power 14 in 1 minus x to the power 6 whole to the power 4 can be written as 1 minus binomial expansion 4c1 x to the power 6 plus 4c2 x to the power 12 minus 4c3 x to the power 18 plus last term, that is x6 to the power 4. This is the expansion of 1 minus x whole to the power 4. Now what is the expansion of 1 minus x whole to the power minus 4? Let me show you. Let me write that thing. That can be written as 1 plus 4c1x plus 4 plus 1 c2 x square plus 4 plus 2 c3 x cube and so on. This is the expansion of 1 minus x whole to the power 4. Let me write the general thing for you. How will you identify? Let me give you one formula here. 1 minus x whole to the power minus n can be written as nc1x 1 plus nc1x plus n plus 1 c2 x square plus n plus 2 n plus 2 c3, yes, x cube and so on. The general term will be n plus r minus 1 cr x to the power r. So you can check that. Okay, so this is how you can expand, and now easily you can calculate x to the power 14. How will you check x to the power 14? Suppose you have x to the power 6 multiplied with x to the power 8 in this expansion, x to the power 6 into x to the power 8, that will be x to the power 14. So that will be given by before that you can check that you have that result actually in this way. This is one of the result. Another x to the power 12, again you have x to the power 12. So x to the power 12, you have to find out another term having x to the power 6 in this expansion. That will give you x to the power 12 into x to the power 6, that will be x to the power 18, and you have x to the power 18 here minus 4c3. So 4c3 into 1 into this, that will give you also x to the power 18. We need only x to the power 14, so that other terms are neglected, and also you have to find out x to the power 14 in this expansion, so that will be with 1. So what is the coefficient of x to the power 14 in this expansion? You can check from this result, this formula, and you can see that the answer will be, or the expansion will be, or the final result will be 17c14 minus 4c1 into 11c8 plus 4c2 into 5c2. You can check that. So the first one is 1 into x, coefficient of x to the power 14 in the next term. So coefficient of x to the power 14 will be what is the general term? You can substitute and check that 17c14, because you check coefficient of x to the power 3 is n plus 2 c3, coefficient of x square is n plus 1 c2, like this. Okay, and 4c1 means this expansion and into x to the power 18. So x to the power 8. So that will give you this and this. So if you calculate this combination terms, you will get 80. So what will be your final answer? This is the coefficient of x to the power 18. Now your required probability is, what is your required probability? Required probability is 80 by 6 to the power 4, that is 5 by 81. So this is the answer, because you are throwing 4 dice. It can be 3 dice, the problem can be 3 dice. In the 3 dice the sum will be 7. In the so 4 dice, 3 dice, 5 dice, any dice, any number of dice can be there. So you can calculate this with the help of this theory. This is very extremely important theoretical problem. Okay, next I will talk about the next problem, that is number 6. What is number 6? So A and B are two independent witnesses in a case. The probability that A will speak the truth is X and the probability that B will speak the truth is Y. Okay, A and B agree in a certain statement. Show that the probability that the statement is true is this one. So the probability that A will speak the truth is X, probability that B will speak the truth is Y, and A and B agree in a statement. Show that the probability of statement is true is this. You have to prove this. So already I have defined the events. A1 denote the event that A and B both speak the truth, right? And A2 denote the event that A and B both speak the untruth, that is they are lying. And also X denote the event that A and B agree in a statement, right? And you see that X can be written as X is the union of A1 and A2 both, because A1 denote the event speaks the truth. If they both speak the truth, they will agree in a statement. If they both lying, they are agree in a statement. Correct? So X is the event if and only if A1 union A2. So what is your probability of X? Probability of X will be probability of A1 plus probability of A2, because these are mutually exclusive. They can either speak the truth, or they can either both of them can A2, these are both speak the truth or both are lying. So A1 and A2, and probability of A1 is given by X into Y, because they are independent witnesses. Look at that, two independent witnesses in a case. So probability of A1 can be given by X into Y, right? That is A1, both speaking the truth, probability of A and probability of B, that is X and Y. And A2 is the event, both are lying. So this is also independent. So complementary is 1 minus X into 1 minus Y. Clear? Now what you have to find out? A and B, you know that A and B agree in a statement. They are agreeing in a statement, and you have to prove that the statement is true. So you have to find out probability of A1 given X, that is on the condition that X has occurred. They are agreeing in a statement. You have to find out that the statement was true. So you have to find out probability of A1 given X, right? So probability of the statement is true on the condition that they are in a agreement, right? And this can be written as probability of A1 intersection X using the conditional probability by probability of X. Now X can be written as probability of A1 intersection A1 union A2. right? Already we have explained that X is A1 union A2, and this equal to this by probability of X. Now this equal to probability of A1. You can apply the set properties, set laws, distribution laws. A1 intersection A1 union A1 intersection A2, right, by probability of X. Okay. Now A1 intersection A1 is A1, but this is your phi, impossible event, because simultaneously they are lying and they are speaking the truth. That is impossible. So this is 0 and this is a null set. Sorry, this is null set. So union with null set will be probability of A only. The result will be probability of A only. So probability of A1 by probability of X. So the result will be XY. Look at that. Probability of A1 is XY. Probability of A1 is XY. This is the probability. So XY by XY plus 1 minus X into 1 minus Y. And you can simplify and get the result. So this is the another way of doing this problem. Let's move to the next problem. Number 7 is just like another true lies problem. A man is known to speak the truth 3 out of 4 times. He throws a die and reports that it is a 6. Find the probability that it is actually a 6. What is the probability that it is actually a 6? So man is speaking the truth 3 out of 4 times. So let me first define some events. So let us suppose B denote the event as 6 occurs. And A denote the event man reports that it is 6. Man reports that it is 6. Man reports that it is 6. Man reports that it is 6 and a 6 occurs. Okay. Then probability, what is your probability of B? A 6 occurs. Occurring of 6 will be 1 by 6. And what is your probability of B bar? 5 by 6. Okay. And what is your probability of A okay. And man reports that, man reports that it is 6. Man reports that it is 6. So probability of B is 1 by 6. Probability of B bar is 1 by 6. There is no 6. And what is the probability, conditional probability? A given B, probability of A given B, that is man reports this 6 and on the condition that it is actually a 6, that will be 3 by 4. That will be 3 by 4. Look at that. A man is known to speak the truth 3 out of 4 times. So what is the meaning of this conditional probability? Probability that man reports that it is 6 on the condition that it was actually 6, that is equal to 3 by 4. Then what is the conditional complementary conditional probability? That is probability of A bar, A B bar on the condition that B bar, that will be 1 by 4. 1 minus 1 by 4. That means it is not a 6, but man reports that it is 6. What is the meaning of this conditional probability? It is not a 6, but man reports that it is 6. So that is 1 by 4. Now what do you have to find out? You have to find out that it is actually a 6. It is actually a 6. So that is, you have to find out probability of B given A. Okay? Because man reports that it is a 6. Man reports that it is a 6. So man actually, A is, man reports that 6. So you have to find out that it is actually, so you have to apply Bayes theorem. Right? You have to apply Bayes theorem. So what is your Bayes theorem? Probability of B given A equal to probability of B on the condition that probability of A slash B by probability of B, probability of A given B plus probability of B bar given into probability of A given B bar. Okay. Now you can substitute, all the values are known to you. You substitute and just check, your answer will be 3 by 8. Everybody please check that your answer will be 3 by 8. So this is a beautiful example of Bayes. How will you apply in true lies problems? Let us have another problem. Number 8. There are 8 blue and 2 red balls in a bag. Each time one ball is drawn, so in a bag you have 8 blue and 2 red balls. Each time one ball is drawn and replaced by a blue one. So each time you are drawing a ball and replaced by a blue one. Let me put a blue one. So these are the blue balls and these are the red balls. So each time you are drawing a ball, but you are replacing with a one blue ball, right? Find the probability that find the probability of drawing at least drawing the last red ball on the fourth draw. So let us give you a hint for this problem. I am not going to solve this whole thing. Let us give you a hint. BI, suppose ith ball is blue. Ith drawn ball is blue, and suppose you can say RJ, jth ball is red, right? And I is your 1 2 3, and J can be 1 2 3 4. I can J. Let me first explain here what are the mutually exclusive events. So the results can be B1 intersection B2 intersection R3 intersection R4. What is the meaning? Let me explain. B1 mean in the first chance, first ball is blue, and look at that, last red ball on the fourth draw. You have only two red balls only, first and second. So one of the possible event will be, first will be blue, second will be blue, third will be red, fourth will be red. Or first will be blue, 2 stands for second trial, 3 stands for third trial, 4 stands for fourth trial. So B1 intersection R2 intersection B3 intersection R4. Look at that. Here also the last one should be always red. Fourth draw, last red ball always in the last one. Fourth is the last one. So before that you have to exhaust all the red balls. So first will be blue, second may be red ball, third is your blue ball, and the fourth one is the red ball. Or what will be next? First will be red, blue, second will be blue, third will be blue, and the last is red. I think that's all. There is no other possibilities. These are the 3 possibilities, right? And second, drawing each ball depends on the previous one, right? And you are drawing one ball and replacing with a blue one. So you can write probability of B1, and these are mutually exclusive. So you can write B1, B2. I am not writing intersection. R3, R4 plus, because already I have taken so much of time of yours. R2, B3, R4, probability of R1, B2, R1, B2, yes, B3, and the last one is R4, right? And this can be written as, this probabilities can be calculated by probability of, you can put a conditional probability here, probability of B1, next is probability of B2 given B1 has drawn, probability of R3 given B1 B2 has drawn, and probability of R4 on the condition that you have drawn B1, B2, B1, B2, R3, and so on. You can write the others also. So let me explain that one. What is the probability? So what is your probability of B1? Probability of B1 will be 8 by, what is your probability of B1? Probability of B1 will be 8 by 10, right? 8 by 10 into, what is your next one? B2 on the condition that you have drawn blue. So whatever you have drawn, you are replacing with a blue one. So again the number of blue will be 8 because one blue has gone, but you are replacing with a blue one. So number of blue balls remain same. So again you have 8 by 10 into R3, that is the third draw. You are drawing a red ball, you are drawing a red ball. So number of balls is 10, so 2 by 10, right, into again the last one, again the fourth red ball you are replacing. So fourth will be, again you are replacing with a blue one. So number of balls will be 10 always, and red will be reduced by 1, so it is 1 by 10, right? Okay. So similarly you can calculate the other probability. So I am leaving this part for you. You can check that with the similar results, that these are the probabilities. Okay. So I am leaving this part. This is a beautiful problem, that you are drawing one ball and replacing with a blue ball. Next, okay, number 9. Two integers x1, x and y are chosen with at random with replacement from 9 natural numbers 1 to 9. Find the probability that mod x square minus y square is divisible by 2. So you are choosing x, and two integers x and y are chosen. X comma y are chosen from the set of integers 1 to 9. 9 natural numbers, positive integers 1 to 9. So two numbers can be chosen in, so total number of events, the event space can be 9 into 9, 81, because first numbers can be chosen in 9 ways and the second number can be chosen in 9 ways. So 81 ways, that is the sample space. Okay. Now because two integers can be chosen with replacement from the given 9 integers in 81 ways, right? And this modulus will be divisible by 2 if x comma y are both even numbers or both odd numbers, both even or both odd. Okay. So there are what are the how many even numbers you have? 2 4 6 8. And what are the odd numbers? Odd numbers you have 1 3 5 7 9. So 5 odd numbers, 4 even numbers, right? So two even numbers can be chosen in 4 into 4 ways because you are choosing both even, and 5 odd numbers can be chosen, one odd number, both odd numbers can be chosen in 5 into 5 ways. So 4 4 is 16 and 5 5 is 25. So 16 plus 25, that is equal to 41. I am not writing the detail. So your required probability will be 41 by 81. That is the required probability, right? You can explain these things because you are choosing the numbers from 1 to 9. So that will be the result. Okay. Let us move to the last problem, and that is a very, very important problem. You look at that from the numbers 1 to 2n plus 1, 2n plus 1 numbers, 3 numbers are chosen at random. What is the probability that these numbers are in AP? What is the probability that these numbers are in AP? So 3 numbers chosen are in AP, and let D be the common difference. Actually AP, you need a common difference for that. So when common difference is 1, what are the possibilities? The possibilities are 1 2 3, 2 3 4, etc. 2 3 1, 2 3 4, 4 5 6, and etc. And the last 3 are 2n minus 1, 2n, 2n plus 1. 2n plus 1 is the last term. So there are altogether, you can check that there are altogether 2n minus 1 groups in all. Right? Now increase d equal to 2. So possible selections are 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6, 2n minus 3, 2n minus 1, 2. Your common difference is 2. Please point to be noted. And the last term is 2n plus 1. So there are altogether 2n minus 3 groups in all. You can calculate that. And so on. If your n minus 1, d is your n minus 1, then it will be 1 n 2n minus 1, 2 n plus 1 2n, 3 n plus 2 2n plus 1. So there are 3 groups in all. You can calculate that and you can check that, verify that by yourself. Please verify. And lastly, when d equal to n, only one possibility, 1 n plus 1 2n plus 1. That is why it is given 2n plus 1 terms. So what are the total number of selection? The sum of this 2n minus 1, 2n minus 3, 5, 3, 1. Last one is the one possibility. So these are the sum. And you can check that the sum will be, please check everybody, that the sum will be n square. And what is the required probability? Required probability is given by n square by actually out of 2n plus 1 you are choosing 3 numbers. Look at the question. 3 numbers are chosen at random. 3 numbers are chosen a number. So 2n plus 1 C3. So this is the required probability. If you simplify, you will get the answer for that. So this is also very complicated one. You have to be careful while we are dealing with d equal to 1, d equal to 2, d equal to n minus 1. What are the number of groups? You have to calculate and you have to do practice on that. So that's all for today. I have discussed today most complicated problems on these chapters and most important problems in this chapter. So I hope this lecture will be helpful to you, right? And you will follow this, you will see repeatedly these videos, and you will follow my channel, follow my video. You will get a lot of videos on probability, differential equation, all that. Okay, so that's all.